Many thanks for staying with us. Some leaders from the southeast and west are again adding their voices to the call for restructuring of Nigeria as the only option to the present problem facing the country. The leaders were speaking at a summit tagged Handshake across the Niger, organized to celebrate the friendship between both regions.
More than 50 years after the assassination of the former military head of state, General Johnson Aguiyi-Ironsi, and the governor of the then western region, Adekunle-Fajuyi.
An interest to be here.
The pan-Yoruba social-political group Afenifere and the Igbo social-cultural group Ohaneze Ndigbo have found a meeting point to celebrate the mutual respect for friendship, as demonstrated by both officers and their sacrifice for the nation. The summit is called the Handshake Across the Niger.
Please, a round of applause for him.
Leaders of the Ohaneze Ndigbo are the hosts, and one after the other, their guests from the pan-Yoruba social-political group Afenifere arrived the venue.
We will take the national anthem when you take our seats.
The summit is expected to set a new friendship tone for both regions. Leader of the Igbo social-cultural group, Chief Nyanwodo, leader of the South-South and Middle Belt people, Tony Uranta, and the representative of the leader of the Yoruba social-political organization, Afenifere, Chief Ayo Adebanjo, reaffirmed the friendship between both regions, and they both renewed the call to restructure the country.
Every credible analysis shows that unless we devolve powers to the states and allow them control of their natural resources and basic utilities of power, environment, education, and infrastructural development, Nigeria will collapse. Don't let anybody to stop you. And the way to do it, we will achieve it with our united. And they know that. That is why they always draw a win in their progress. Yoruba, you want to do with the Igbo? They have forgotten what they did for you. Igbo, you want to do with the Yoruba again? They have forgotten that is a thing of the past.
Apart from the leaders of the two groups, it's a general consensus here that the government of the day should embrace the restructuring of the federal system of government for Nigeria to practice true democracy. But then the former aviation minister, Femi Fani-Kayode, is making a different call. He wants the government to proscribe the parent group of the herders in Nigeria, Miyetti Allah.
I call that the federal government should ban them, declare them a terrorist organization,
As the summit winds down, a group of women from Abia State crashed into the auditorium, disrupting the discussion and asking the group to abandon their clamor for restructuring and demand for justice in the alleged killing of their children during the military operation in the southeast, codenamed Operation Python Dance. However, their demands didn't disrupt the focus of the gathering, as the Igbo and the Yoruba nation represented here agreed to strengthen their ties with the handshake from families of their heroes, Aguiyi-Ironsi and Adekunle-Fajuyi.
Now for some sports news. The national under-20 women's team, the Falconets, are now in South Africa ahead of this weekend's 2018 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifying game against the hosts. The Falconets will play against the South Africans at the Pt.4 Stadium on Saturday. The 2010 and 2014 World Cup silver medalists advanced to the final stage of qualifiers, beating Tanzania 9-0 and Morocco 6-2 on aggregate. The winner of the two-leg tie will take one of the two slots for African teams at the tournament, which will be hosted by France in August. Manchester United are set to battle neighbours Manchester City for Arsenal's Alexis Sanchez. Sky Sports reports United are willing to consider involving Armenia international midfielder Henrikh Mkhitaryan in a swap deal for Sanchez, whose representatives have been contacted by those of United. United are also ready to pay more than Manchester City for the Chile star and will give him a higher wage. City, however, already have a financial package in place for Sanchez should he leave Arsenal in the summer when his contract expires, which could earn him £13 million a year in wages, with the 29-year-old receiving a £30 million signing-on fee. World number 2 Roger Federer says he's excited to be back at the Australian Open. With the absence of several key players, including Andy Murray and Kei Nishikori, he is regarded as favourite for the title. Federer is seeking a 20th major at the age of 36.
It's great to be back. No, this is not normal. I don't like usually going to draws because they freak me out. I don't want to know who I play other than just seeing the sheet at the end and knowing who my first round opponent is. But what a pleasure it is to be back on the Morgan Court Arena. Actually, that is the second court I came onto after winning last year and showed off the trophy to the people who actually watched on the big screens in here. It was an amazing final, amazing moment for me in my life, and it's great to be back here.
That's a wrap on sports news. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. The News at 10 continues in a moment.
In North Africa, over 300 people have been arrested in Tunisia overnight as anger spreads over the government's austerity measures. The army has been deployed into towns across the country to protect government buildings, which have become major targets. The Prime Minister condemned the act, called it vandalism by the protesters, and accused them of trying to weaken the state. Senior European diplomats have asked the United States not to stop the Iran nuclear deal as President Donald Trump ponders on whether to impose sanctions on the country ahead of a Friday deadline. Mr. Trump had vowed to rip up the agreement during his election campaign and has constantly referred to it as the worst deal ever. But the European nations who helped broker the deal with the Obama administration has asked Mr. Trump to sign the latest sanctions waiver required to keep the deal alive. In the United States, hundreds of rescuers are searching through the debris in Southern California for those missing after mudslides killed at least 17 people. Another 28 injuries have been reported in Santa Barbara County following the overwhelming figure that have come from these wildfires. More than 100 homes were completely ruined and another 300 have been damaged. And the main news again. The Nigeria Labour Congress and the National Union of Teachers today defied warnings by the police by protesting against the sack of their colleagues by the Kaduna State government, which is insisting that it is in the best interest of the people. And the European Union today asked the United States not to abandon its 2015 nuclear deal with Iran. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Melinda Akimani.